In a world where magic and academia intertwined, a young man named Li-han had grown disillusioned with the rigors of academia. Determined to break free from the chains of schools, he vowed to live a life solely for himself. Little did he know that fate had a different plan in store for him. Accompanied by his loyal knight, Arlong, Li-han embarked on a journey that would take him to the Empire's most prestigious magic academy, Einregard. As they approached the grand institution, Arlong couldn't contain his awe and reminisced about Li-han's humble beginnings. While Arlong marveled at the academy's splendor, Li-han remained silent, haunted by his past experiences. Flashbacks from his previous life as a graduate student flooded his mind, reminding him of the hardships and sacrifices he had endured. In the past, a professor had invited him to join a hiking club, but Li-han had felt too insignificant to partake. Another professor had burdened him with endless tasks, leaving him sleepless and fatigued. His friend had commiserated over their meager sustenance, surviving weeks on triangle gimbap. Yet, his friend recognized Li-han's extraordinary resilience, urging him to consider pursuing academia once more. Determined to live life on his terms, Li-han made a solemn promise to himself never to set foot in a school again. However, destiny had other plans. As he crossed the road lost in his thoughts, a tragic accident claimed his life, abruptly ending his journey. But this was not the end. Li-han's spirit, bound by an unbreakable thread, transcended to a new life, a life where he was reborn as Li-han Wardinas, the third child of the prestigious Wardinas magic family, known for their wealth and power within the empire. Expecting an easy life as a noble, Li-han soon discovered the harsh reality. In the Wardinas family, only the firstborn would inherit everything, leaving the remaining children to fend for themselves. Faced with this new challenge, Li-han realized that his past life's resolve to stay away from schools had carried over. To navigate this new world and secure his place, Li-han sought guidance from his knight companion, Arlong, not only in swordsmanship but also in his pursuit of magic. Recognizing the importance of becoming a mage, Li-han believed it to be the safest route, one that would guarantee recognition and acceptance from various factions within the empire. However, his seemingly practical outlook was met with an unexpected response from Arlong. The knight moved to tears and expressed his admiration for Li-han's realistic approach, contrasting it with the usual ambitions and illusions that consumed noble children. Li-han couldn't help but reflect on the transformative experiences of his past life, which had tempered his ambitions and made him more grounded. Determined to ensure his future, Li-han believed that his magical prowess would be welcomed by various factions within the empire. He saw Einregard as a stepping stone to success, despite its reputation for challenges and illusions. As they approached the imposing gates of Einregard, Li-han couldn't help but notice the excessive measures taken to protect the nobles. He overheard a fellow noble lamenting the absence of their servants, their dependents likened to losing their very limbs. Li-han smirked, finding the noble's entitlement amusing but wisely refrained from commenting. Suddenly, a commanding voice resonated through the air, paralyzing all in its presence. It was the enigmatic headmaster of Einregard, a figure revered for their mastery of magic and feared for their stern demeanor. Li-han felt a shiver crawl down his spine as the headmaster admonished the nobles, challenging their reliance on privilege and status. The carriages carrying the nobles were whisked away, leaving them stranded outside the academy's gates. As the heavy doors swung open, revealing the secrets within, Li-han's heart raced with both anticipation and trepidation. He knew that the journey ahead would be fraught with peril, but also brimming with untapped potential and hidden wonders. And so, Li-han stepped into the hallowed halls of Einregard, fully aware that his life was about to change in ways he could never have foreseen. The grand doors of Einregard Academy swung open, revealing a vast hall. Li-han, still trying to process the whirlwind of events that had led him here, stepped inside with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. The silence enveloped him, heightening his senses. Li is approached by a girl named Yoner Mayakin. Yoner, hailing from the Makin family, a mage lineage similar to Li's own, informs him that the prince wishes to meet him. Li is taken aback by the mention of the prince. In a place teeming with children from prominent families, the royal lineage holds a unique position. Li ponders the reason behind the prince's interest and wonders if it is a way to establish connections or if there's something more to it. Yoner urges Li to accompany her to meet the prince, as she had faced repeated rejections until now. Li, considering the potential benefits of befriending someone of high status, agrees to join them. However, he harbors doubts about the prince's true intentions. Soon, they reach the prince, identified as Gainando, the 97th prince, though some claim he is the 101st prince. Lee observes that Gainando is rather immature and lacks the refinement expected of a member of the royal family. The prince expresses his frustration at being rejected by another student for Ardenart, the 44th princess of the imperial family. Lee advises Gainando not to bully or insult others, emphasizing the importance of noble conduct. He suggests that the prince should either graciously forgive those who offend him or request a duel personally if he finds it necessary. Gainando, terrified at the thought of a duel, decides to forgive them instead. Meanwhile, the unexpected presence of the headmaster, who appears as a skull, surprises all the students. The headmaster revealed to be a Lick, an undead mage who has surpassed death. He addresses the students as Iron Heads. Confusion arises as the students believe it refers to their freshman symbol, steel. However, the headmaster cleverly reveals that it symbolizes the lack of intelligence among the students, teasing them for falling for his words. Lee notices the immense magical power density in the academy, and realizes that moving around in such an environment requires adaptation. He wonders if the headmaster intentionally adjusted the density to challenge the students. The headmaster is impressed by Lee's ability to move in the dense magical atmosphere, and directs everyone toward a door leading to a banquet hall. The headmaster announced a feast for the students, inviting them to enjoy the banquet and find respite from their travels. The doors to the banquet hall swung open, revealing a magnificent spread of food that seemed almost too good to be true. However, as the students approached the tantalizing display, Prince Gainando, in particular, couldn't contain his excitement, but his enthusiasm was short-lived when the food disappeared before his eyes. The headmaster chuckled at their reactions, delighting in their naivety. As the students stand bewildered, the headmaster demonstrates his magical abilities by making bread, clothes, and wands float around them. He explains that these items are their uniforms and provisions, encouraging them to learn magic and acquire what they need through their abilities. Prince Gainando, about to voice his thoughts, was met with the headmaster's sudden appearance in front of him. Startled, the prince fell silent, overwhelmed by the headmaster's imposing presence. The headmaster's words echoed through the chamber. The students stood there shocked. It was a call to action, a challenge to embrace the limitless potential of magic within their grasp. The realization dawned upon them that Einregard Academy was not merely a place of learning. The sudden disappearance of the sumptuous feast before their eyes left them questioning the very nature of their surroundings. Doubts began to creep into their minds as they struggled to comprehend the rules of this peculiar academy. Uncertainty replaced their initial eagerness, and they found themselves at a crossroads, unsure of what lay ahead and how they would navigate this enigmatic world of magic and illusions. The headmaster's words echoed through the academy, leaving the students in a state of shock and disbelief. With a voice dripping in icy authority, the headmaster's words carried an eerie weight. If the food is bad, they are told to learn magic and make their food. Likewise, if their clothes and wands were subpar, they were challenged to employ magic to obtain superior replacements. As the students pondered their situation, Lee and Gainando engaged in a conversation. Gainando, coming from a privileged background, couldn't fathom the idea of living with low-quality provisions and clothing. However, Lee offered a different perspective, suggesting that if the necessities were provided, compared to how he lived in his previous life, it could be considered a better situation. The Wardina's family, their enigmatic nature is fueled by a scarcity of information even within a noble society. Unlike their counterparts, the Wardinas focus solely on magic research, foregoing the trappings of social life. As a result, misunderstandings flourished, casting an aura of mystery around the family. Gainando issued an offer to Lee to visit his home after hearing what Lee had to say and feeling sorry for him because even the maids of his own noble family were not given such scant bread and worn-out clothing. Unprepared for the sudden invitation, Lee respectfully accepted while not completely understanding the significance of the proposal. The story then shifted its focus to the dormitories at Einregard Academy. The dormitories, shrouded in mystery and anticipation, existed within the academy grounds. Among the rumored dormitories, the vainglorious Blue Dragon's Tower commanded awe and respect. It was said to be a realm accessible only to those blessed with the noblest of lineages, the blue-blooded descendants of dragons, including the royal family and esteemed nobles. Its presence loomed with an air of opulence and exclusivity, evoking visions of regal halls adorned with ornate dragon motifs. In stark contrast, the eternally burning Phoenix's tower held an air of solemnity and spiritual devotion. Only those who had dedicated their lives to the divine flame were said to be granted entry. Disciples from various religious orders were said to find solace within its hallowed walls, where flickering flames danced in eternal reverence. The lightning-biting White Tiger's tower represented a fusion of two formidable forces, the path of a knight and the art of magic. Within its chambers, the descendants of knight families resided, embracing their dual destinies with fierce determination. It was whispered that the atmosphere crackled with electrifying energy, symbolizing the unyielding resolve and unrelenting strength of those who walked the path of both warrior and mage. Lastly, it was revealed that the Black Turtle's tower housed students with lower status, including peasants, servants, slaves, and individuals from newly rising low-noble families. The students residing in this dormitory were often looked down upon by others, leading to a sense of low spirits among them. However, Lee had a different perspective. He recognized the potential for business partnerships with the students of the Black Turtle's tower, understanding that real-life experience was invaluable for his entrepreneurial endeavors. A group of arrogant students made derogatory remarks about the students of the Black Turtle's tower, igniting Lee's protective instincts because of how they tried to speak indecently about his potential business partners. He confronted the arrogant individual, reminding them that everyone had left their previous lives behind to come to the academy, and pride was unwarranted in such circumstances. Lee's noble background and reputation as a member of the Wardina's family garnered respect and admiration from the other students. Lee's dignified presence and words left a lasting impression on them, further establishing his standing among his peers.